And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Taking a look at the river breakup map again here, you can see most or some open here for the Porcupine River, so it continues to slowly thaw out there. All the southern rivers here open now, and also most of the, or a good portion of the, let's see, that's the Kobuk River right through there. Still mostly ice down toward the coastline. And the NOAA River just to the north there has some, looks like mostly open here on the lower stretch with some open for the remainder of the stretch. And still iced over with no sign of breakup there for the North Slope rivers. Moving on to the fire danger here, kind of separated between high to the east and high to very high to the west there for grass. This area right through here where the showers and thunderstorms have been dropping the heaviest precipitation there. So that area in the low category. Areas of south central Alaska here seeing some high to very high fire danger for grass, especially over the Copper River Basin and up over the Yukon Flats. And moving on to spruce, high fire danger mostly over the Kobuk Valley back through here and then kind of off to the southwest there. Again, with this blue shaded area, the low fire danger, there where most precipitation has been falling. And in the Copper River Basin, an area of high there, as well as over the central Kenai Peninsula, again for spruce. And from there, looking at satellite imagery, a pretty strong low pressure area pulling northward here, the main low down to the south, but the low kind of pulling back to the west-northwest here with some pretty good gusty winds, and the front stalling out right over the Panhandle, bringing some heavy rain today. 2.5 inches falling at Ketchikan during the day today in a 12-hour period, and about 1.5 inches up at Haines. So very wet conditions continue all across the southeast coast. Got clouds here advancing westward once again, with not much in the way of any precipitation here occurring yet. Some scattered thunderstorms developing right up in here north of Fort Yukon up toward the southern slopes of the Brooks Range, and then kind of a narrow band right through here of some pretty convective showers and isolated thunderstorms developing here. And then back to the west right through here, kind of a boundary between the warm air to the east and the chillier air back to the northwest there. And that's just bringing some areas of light precipitation, just barely a few hundredths or even measurable at all, barely measurable at all associated with that. Out over the Bering Sea, not a lot going on here, just some areas of clouds and winds not too bad. Rolling that through again, you can see clouds shifting southward here, but again, not much in the way of any precipitation associated with these. And for the forecast for tonight, look for areas of snow here from the eastern Arctic coast right on down into the Brooks Range. Mixture of precipitation over toward Arctic Village into the southeast, and mostly just showers here over the eastern interior. Back to the west there along this trough axis. And west of that, dry conditions with light north winds, or maybe wind 10 to 20 miles an hour out of the north-northwest there, but dry for the Seward Peninsula. Maybe some flurries around Teller, Wales in those areas, but the Bering Sea, very dry conditions, winds light, maybe a few showers out here pushing in, or actually just west of Shimianatu, that tomorrow will slide eastward there. Otherwise, that's about it as far as any action out here over the Bering Sea. Not much associated with this low center there over the west central Bering. And then an Arctic low up through here, bringing some snow into the Russian Far East with some ridging in advance of that through the Bering Strait. Dry over the western interior, mostly cloudy, showers, scattered, isolated to scattered thunderstorms here over the interior once again. Looks kind of damp up there over the Yukon Flats, in areas of snow from the Brooks Range out to the eastern Arctic coast, right across the north slope there. And this front hangs up along the coast, keeping it wet over the Panhandle. You can see weakening into a trough tomorrow afternoon. Still a little gusty on the winds in places here for the Panhandle. Less wind, but still pretty wet for the North Gulf Coast. And showers over the Kenai Peninsula down toward Kodiak Island, maybe northeast Bristol Bay. And just coming onto the chart here, this next system, that Friday, tracks northeastward, more rain for the southeast coast, heaviest in the south once again, associated with that front, and lighter to the north. Not much change over the interior, looking at The central and east side seeing the best chance of any shower activity or scattered thunderstorms again, all the way down into the mountainous terrain of the Kenai Peninsula and south central Alaska. Dry for Kodiak Island with a few sun breaks and some sun breaks out here over the western interior as well as continued dry conditions. A few rain or snow showers possible there for the western Seward Peninsula, and maybe some shower activity for the eastern North Slope, but all very light. Aleutians dry. This system dropping into the Bering Sea here brings some rain chances from St. Lawrence Island across St. Matthew Island, but that's about it. Staying offshore everywhere. Pribilofs should stay dry, definitely dry for the Aleutians with light wind conditions. And then moving on to the first day of the weekend, Saturday shows a system just, you see the isobar there on the chart, comes right up to the northeast. A pretty strong low down to 977 millibars. That'll bring good gale force winds and rain heavy at times with winds gusting possibly as high as 65 miles an hour for Cold Bay. And in the to the northeast there, dry again with partly to mostly sunny skies over the western interior areas all the way down to northeast Bristol Bay. Rain changes to showers over the central Aleutians and becomes dry for the far western Bering. And still some shower chances here along a trough. Could be pretty numerous in the afternoon with some scattered thunderstorms there over the upper Tanana Valley and 40 Mile Country. Scattered isolated showers developing again over the mountains, Kenai Peninsula, Chugach, Talkeetnas. And dry for the North Gulf Coast and still looking kind of wet there for the southern panhandle, but rainfall amounts much lighter than they have been there with a weak trough keeping it showery down to the south. Some areas will see possibly a dry day for Saturday for the northern panhandle in areas, others won't. And up here to the north, an Arctic front bringing snow and increasing winds to the central and eastern Arctic coast. And for the lows tonight up there, anywhere from the upper teens to the upper 20s. And then, as you can see, cooling or warming into the 30s to lower 40s in the central interior, mid-40s southern Alaska, in the 30s for the Bering Sea and the Aleutians, and mid-20s for St. Lawrence Island, in the 40s for the southeast coast. Highs for tomorrow, 55 to 60 over the eastern part of the state here, south of the Brooks Range, all the way down in toward the North Gulf Coast, closer to 50 for the highs here for Prince William Sound and the eastern North Gulf Coast, but Middleton Island should be up to 48. 50s for the southeast coast, Kodiak Island, lower 50s, Bristol Bay, in the 40s here over the western interior, and 30s, Pribilofs, lower 30s, St. Lawrence Island, in the 20s to 30 for the highs there for the North Slope and the Arctic coast, and in the 40s for the Aleutians. Friday morning lows, again 15 to 25 from the Brooks Range out to the Arctic coast there, and 30s and 40s in the central interior. Ambler, McGrath, maybe down to the frost point there. Upper 20s here all the way down to possibly Amonic there, and up toward St. Lawrence Island, upper 20s, near freezing for the Pribilofs, and the 30s for the Aleutians. And then for the highs, on Friday afternoon, 60 to 65 here from Fort Yukon down toward Eagle, upper 50s for the central Tanana Valley areas, and upper 40s to lower 50s for south central Alaska for the highs, mid 50s for Bristol Bay. I'm sorry, for Copper River Basin, Bristol Bay, upper 40s, same thing for Kodiak Island, and in the 50s again for the southeast coast.